Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back with the Renegade Master, your dreadlock caster, RedRipz. That's me, right here for another episode of CasualCraft. This is episode number 48 now, and we're here on Yonsu LE for today's game. Better known as Ron Seal, because it's got such a retarded name. And up in the top right-hand corner for a Diamond versus Diamond League game in this ZVZ we have today. Here is today's brother from another mother, the Red Zerg player, DroneOfArc. Woo! Yeah, so the stakes are high, and he's going to be burning. And up in the bottom left-hand corner, we have today's sister from another mister, the Blue Zerg player, Rhythm. Keeping it in time, yeah. I swear to God, I don't think of these before the show. Right, with that anyway, we're going to be having, as I say, Diamond League game, Zerg v Zerg. All very nice, nothing out of the ordinary here. Both players droning straight on up and getting the overlords out in reasonable even time there. All very normal, nothing cheesy off the bat. No early spawning pools, nothing crazy to talk about like that. So yeah, it's Wednesday. I have been to work. I've worked way too many hours today, and now I'm home, and I'm way too tired for this. Point proven, pretty well. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and do my best, see what can happen. But it's all good. So it's going to be fun. Meanwhile, what have I done recently? I've booked. I haven't booked bus tickets yet. That's next on my plan. I need to book tickets for a bus from Gothenburg in Sweden to Jönköping, so I can go to DreamHack. Meanwhile, DroneOfArc here. Because that's about as interesting a story as I've got to tell today. DroneOfArc's put down his expansion here, so has Rhythm. They're both going for 15. I think it was 16 out of Rhythm, whereas 15 out of DroneOfArc was the timing of that. Both players going for the expansion first, nothing too weird. Spawning pool coming out for Rhythm just behind that on 14, and same with DroneOfArc up in his main. Getting the spawning pool down, all very tasty. Nothing weird out of the blue here. I think it's just going to be a pretty standard sort of macro-y game from the look of things here. We've got DroneOfArc's Overlord approaching Rhythm's base now. He's going to be having a little scout around, see the second base. That's going to be very pleasing for him to see because he's put one down as well. Same thing for Rhythm, going to see the second base, and that will be about as fun as that gets. Now we're getting extractors out here out of both players at pretty much exactly the same time. This looks, I imagine we'll probably go into Ling speed early as usual. Probably nothing too weird out of this, but again, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. Can't always tell from the gas timing, especially at non-Grandmaster level, exactly what might be going on here. And obviously with this being a Diamond League game, we'll be expecting all sorts. So we've got the Queen starting up here in both the main and the second before too long, once that's finished up for Rhythm. Meanwhile, DroneOfArc's slightly ahead in that because he got his base down slightly earlier, so it was there to finish just in time as the spawning pool and get both his Queens out nice and early. Lovely play there from you, Joan. So with that, he's got his drones rallied down to his second now, as he should, and he's going to be finishing up this mineral line here. Same thing out of Rhythm, all very nice, very standard, nothing weird and shit. Got double Queens out, getting the first set of Lings out of both players. Both players basically doing exactly the same build at this stage. I mean, there's a few little minor discrepancies. I'd say DroneOfArc was very, very, very slightly ahead, especially he's now got that extra overlord up, so you can macro into that just slightly earlier than our friend Rhythm here did. But both players sending their Lings round the opposite sides of the centre there, and neither player going to actually spot each other as they do that. And I've just realised that I'm actually doing this at like 12 to 20 kilobytes a second. I thought it was 20,000, sorry, kilobytes a second is my kilobits per second. Apparently, sorry, is my my encoding thing. I thought it much lower than that. Apparently, that's pretty good. I thought it was on about 5 or 6, but apparently it's like triple that. And now it's actually at 26,000. Wow. So yeah, we're gonna be seeing this Queen of Rhythm here, just knocking away these Lings. Not gonna be doing any damage there. They're mostly just for scouting. Same sort of crack up at this other base. I imagine if we just find where did your Lings go there, Rhythm? Let's have a little find of these two. Yeah, they're up down in the back in his second base again. Actually, I think he's probably he had a little. Yeah, he's scouted out this second, seen that, and that's about it really. He's not going to be doing too much more there. I'd quite like him to have taken like the Zelnaga towers or something and maintain the vision of the middle of the map really, but it's all good. Doesn't matter that much. Both players continuing to drone up, all very good. Things are starting to look a little bit different for both players now though. If I can just skip to the main base of DroneOfArc here now. He's going to be finishing up his extractor in his main. He's going to be going into roaches, and he's got an evolution chamber down as well. So I think we're seeing some slightly early upgrades out of our Zerg player here. He's obviously finishing up this roach Warren in the front here with the Evo chamber as well. So I think basically we're just going to be walling off here, making sure we're kept in. And I really like the way this works actually, because what you can do, this is really to help help against big Ling flood play. So what you do is you build this wall, nothing can get in past that while everything's building, and then as soon as you want to go out, you can just pull the spine crawler back a bit, and it's all very good. And from then on, you can obviously block the gap with your queens. And I really like these 4 queen builds as well. They're very safe, and like you get a lot of creep spread out really early on if you make sure you focus that there. So that's pretty good. We should be seeing some upgrades out of DroneOfArc before too long as well, and that would be very nice. Meanwhile, down at RedRipz base, he's getting down a Roach Warren, not going for the upgrades yet, I don't think, unless so he's got double in the base, so he's going for the upgrade straight away, and it looks like he'll be generally going into some ranged units here. So once again, I think we're seeing a Roach Hydra sort of play out of Rhythm today. Will be his crack, I think. I don't see why he wouldn't, since he's got the 2 gases down already. He's getting the assault ranged upgrades as well as the defense upgrade, which is all very nice for him. And neither player really going for the early link speed there. If we just have a little look at, oh, actually, sorry, no, Rhythm got the link speed, whereas DroneOfArc decided against it. He's going to skip that in favour of getting some slightly earlier roaches out, which he's building now. And also we should hopefully be seeing some upgrades out from here before too long. Perhaps these were just to wall off the front, and he's going to be building roaches and then moving out. But I'm not really sure about that, because I always like upgrades. I'm a huge fan of upgrades, and 1-1 timings are particularly powerful. And anything that he throws in soon is just going to fall on its face against Rhythm's superior units. Because, well, I mean, unless DroneOfArc can have considerably more units down sometime soon, Rhythm will be stronger, as he'll be able to spot this coming out across the map with his overlords, and then be able to chase that down, to build the roaches that he needs to defend without too much bother there. Now, meanwhile, Rhythm's taken a third, something that DroneOfArc hasn't yet done, so I imagine at this point Rhythm's going to be looking just to continue macroing and just hopes that DroneOfArc doesn't bother just launching himself into this base too quickly. But as long as he keeps hitting his injects, which currently he's missing. Oh no, sorry, is he missing that? No, he's only just hit 25. Perhaps he's not missing them. It's all good. So yeah, he's hitting that inject now. That's good. With this in mind, I think we're generally looking towards a sort of slightly later game army out of DroneOfArc there. And we've got the Nidus coming out. Sorry, I just completely missed the Nidus worm come down at the back there. That was sly there out of DroneOfArc there. So it looks like we're getting the Nidus straight into the main base here of Rhythm here, and this is actually hilarious. I love Nidus play. And with the 3 queens coming out and a massive roaches, it's going to be a little bit difficult for Rhythm, although Rhythm's managed to get all these roaches out of the teal with this already. So obviously with the time that the Nidus worm took to come up, and if we just keep transfusing that was really nice. Just a few continued transfusions down there, and this is going to be loads of damage here out of DroneOfArc, although unfortunately for DroneOfArc, Rhythm does have the superior upgrades, so I think if he can, as long as he doesn't sort of lose too many of these, I think he's going to be losing this actually. He's not quite going to be able to hold on to that, and actually that looks really bad now for Rhythm, really. He's forced to pull his drones over. There's another Nidus worm coming out now, which is going to just pop out more and more roaches here for DroneOfArc, which actually couldn't get out because of the drones there around from Rhythm around the Nidus worm. That was quite nice play. And obviously we've got the massive roaches here in the middle still for DroneOfArc still, but with more and more stuff coming out from Rhythm here, although DroneOfArc does have a slight advantage in terms of the number of in terms of his supply lead, I think Rhythm's actually in a slightly better position here, because he should be able to hold this off, and then he should be able to come out with the third base. Although actually I'm not sure we're seeing more and more of that coming down now. We've actually got another Nidus one coming out on the far side here for Drone, and this is going to take out the third base of Rhythm here, and that's actually really worrying for Rhythm, because the one thing he's going to be able to rely on coming out of this, assuming he managed to hold this off, would be that extra base. And since he's going to lose that now, that's going to be a real problem, because there's absolutely nothing he can do to stop this. There's a few extra roaches spawning here, but they're all just going to die straight up if they get caught out by those roaches there, because there's more of them. Now Rhythm's going to be completely clearing this up in the main. Drone, meanwhile, is going to be starting his 1-1 upgrades and 2 various speed upgrades for his roaches and lings behind this. Meanwhile, Rhythm's looking at 2 attack, and it's actually 2/3 finished now, so Rhythm's going to be in a much better position here if he can just hold on to this game and not lose too much more. He really needs to get this third base back down and start looking at that again. There it comes, and with that, Rhythm's finally going to be clearing off this Nidus all in. I mean, I don't know if it was truly all in, but considering he didn't go for the third base at all, I think that's pretty all in as far as play goes, certainly for Zerg players. Meanwhile, we've got DroneOfArc starting up his 2/2 defense upgrade there as well behind this, so that's all very good. He's going to be just spreading around, making sure. Sorry, that was Rhythm starting his 2/2 defense upgrade there. DroneOfArc still aiming for 1/1, which he will be able to get here, I think, before Rhythm turns up. But Rhythm's actually at this rate going to have the 2 attack upgrade well before his opponent does. So he's actually pretty in a really good position here, to be honest. I like for the damage that DroneOfArc did, like as much as he did, it's really not that bad. And to be honest, what Rhythm needs to do is make sure he clears these overlords out of his base now, because he's going to keep getting pressured by these Nidus worms by the look of it. And well, obviously we don't like that, do we? Now, so Rhythm's going to have to draw his troops back, make sure he clears this out, stops this going any further. together, and to be honest, it's on half health already. This shouldn't be able to get too much out of that, and there it goes, it falls very quickly to these 2 attack roaches that we've got here now, dealing plenty of damage here for Rhythm now. So with both players sort of just recovering from that now, DroneOfArc will be looking to get this third base down. He hasn't yet broken out of this base yet, and I really like this sort of blocked up contain there that DroneOfArc's got going on at the top, because it means that he can Nidus his troops out continuously, but at the same time Rhythm can't just walk into his base. It'll slow him right down. So I really like the play here out of Drone. He's doing really well, but with Rhythm finding this Nidus Worm straight away, he pretty much one-shots that, and that's going to be the end of that pressure there. So I think with that, DroneOfArc's probably going to have to stop it with the Nidus Worms now, although he's actually rocking up to 150 odd supply now. What on earth does this player have? Let's take a look. So we've got 45 roaches, which obviously is a huge chunk of supply. That's 90 supply there and roaches there. That's a lot of roaches. And meanwhile, Rhythm's only got 70 odd. Both players are relatively even on the number of drones. However, DroneOfArc's slightly ahead in terms of queens and has a few extra lings there as well to help out his army composition. So really both players in very similar positions, but with DroneOfArc being slightly ahead on the army supply, as I think he traded a little bit more efficiently there in that initial engagement where he basically went in, but he's been since throwing in quite a lot of Nidus Worms, and those have been getting taken out pretty continuously by Rhythm. So to be honest, I'm not really sure who I'd say was ahead at this point, although to be honest, Drone having the supply lead, he's got 50 extra lings out now as well. He's in a pretty good position, but with Rhythm continuing to drone up as well, sorry, got 50 extra lings out there, with Rhythm continuing to drone up as well, though, that's going to be a little bit of an issue actually there if DroneOfArc doesn't capitalise on the advantage that he has, because, well, basically Rhythm will have the better economy. DroneOfArc's only just getting up this third base now, while Rhythm behind this already has the third up. He's getting the injects down, he's already droning it up, looking very nice. He's not actually building any additional drones yet. He's got his Hydralisk den down and will be getting Hydralisks out to support this, which is obviously the right sort of move that you want to be going to behind a Roach army, because then both units take advantage of the ranged upgrades that he's piled on into. So that should be pretty good out of him. Meanwhile, we're seeing DroneOfArc go for an infestation pit. So either we're going to see some infestors down here, or probably more likely I would say swarm hosts, because we're getting the assault upgrades and stuff. So because the infested marines don't any longer have they're not affected by the ranged upgrades anymore or anything like that. It's basically, they're not as viable an option as they were, and swarm hosts are just incredibly good, especially Nidusing in swarm hosts. I'm a big fan of that, because you get it out, you get the Nidus worm out, all your swarm hosts come barreling out, and you're basically left with this sort of creep mess that you can kind of spread more creep on, and you get like more range from that and stuff like that, because obviously the units move faster on it, so you just get a lot more out of your swarm hosts when they're reacting on creep. Now we're going to see a little bit of a move out here from Rhythm. Now he's both at very similar army supply here, and he's actually stopping DroneOfArc just maxing out there by taking down a few of these extra overlords, which I quite like. However, we're going to see a huge run by out of DroneOfArc here now, and this is probably going to actually take out this extra base unless Rhythm spotted it, which he has done. Now can DroneOfArc get this base down in time? Let's have a look. So the thick of Rhythm's army is going to take up here. He didn't target down the hatchery quick enough, and it doesn't look like he's actually going to clear this out. Most of this is going to get cleared up, and that will pretty much be the end of that. Although we've got a few lings running at the main, those aren't going to do too much there. And we've got still a few lings in this last little bit of the base here. So to be honest, Rhythm could do splitting off a few of these troops, sending them in here to clear this up, splitting off a few more to go into his main, and then the rest of his army needs to move up and start trying to apply some pressure to DroneOfArc, because let's be honest here, at this point DroneOfArc's looking bit of a stronger position, I would say, is he's basically forcing his opponent to run all over the place. And while Rhythm has managed to get this third base up earlier, he hasn't really droned it up, whereas DroneOfArc has now, and he's also going to be having the spire out, the hive out any second now as well. So with that, it's looking pretty nasty. And well, I was wrong, it seems, about the swarm hosts. It looks like we're just going to see infestors out behind this. So yeah, Roach Hydra with infestors will be the composition. No, sorry, yeah, we're going Hydras as well there. Sorry, we are going to get the Hydras out. So Roach Hydra with infestors behind it. The lings, I guess, were just a huge sort of mineral dump, because sometimes you need to do that, and sometimes you get a whole load of damage done with them. It's quite good. Meanwhile, Rhythm's going to have a little wander around, just taking out some random overlords, doing the best that he can there, and both players moving towards a fourth base now. Now they've taken slightly different fourth bases here, both of them opting to go on the left-hand side of the map. Rhythm's base, I think I prefer where Rhythm's put it, because he's got a little bit more access to it, and it's kind of, although actually it's quite a long, if we just zoom out there, that is quite a long way to run around from the bottom of this ramp, although it's still, to be honest, pretty close to the second, whereas DroneOfArc's just gone straight up onto this high ground here beyond his third, which I think, actually, I'm not sure which option I prefer. We're going to see a little engagement in the middle, though, however, so before I talk too much about that sort of thing, we'll go back and just check these armies out. They're both just sort of trying to split up, get the bigger concave on. At the moment, DroneOfArc's looking like he might fall behind in this one, just because Rhythm's got the bigger concave. concave. But if we can get some money fungals down out of DroneOfArc here, that would be absolutely lovely. And that's something to be absolutely scared of, is definitely the big fungals on this sort of army. They do so much damage, especially the Hydralisks with their lower health. It's not always so good. So we're going to see DroneOfArc moving around. He's going to actually be able to pick off little bits of RedRipz army here. He's managed to split it up in such a way that he's just going to be losing the additional supply that he had there, really. So I'm not really sure about that. Both players moving towards Infestors now as well. Oh, and the huge fungals there down for Rhythm there on this other army. And that was really nice there out of DroneOfArc. And Rhythm's troops taking so much damage from those huge fungals, as I say. And that was a really good engagement there for DroneOfArc. He managed to take down the thick of Rhythm's army, and it does look like Rhythm will be able to forcibly pull back here out of this, and he's really going to struggle to defend this now. And obviously with DroneOfArc just getting these 3/3 upgrades now as well, it's looking very strong here for him. Meanwhile, Rhythm's sat on 2/2, not moving for 3/3, and yeah, this is looking really quite bad actually for Rhythm in that respect, because he's, I mean, he does now have this third base droned up, and that's obviously a lot stronger, but he could do with getting some more this extra base here. And with these Infestors coming over to this fourth base as well, I think we're going to see some pressure here in the form of some infested Terrans coming down. And here they go. They're going to be absolutely obliterating this base here. So Rhythm's going to have to try and deal with that in some way. But meanwhile, he's going to be engaging on the top of DroneOfArc's army, and actually going to get a good little engagement there, because the stutter step forward with the Hydralisks got a little bit more of an advantage there. And I think actually that DroneOfArc's going to lose this engagement now, because Rhythm's managed to resupply his army. He's got his supply back up to full, and with 17 more roaches coming out for him as well, he's looking at a pretty good position to push this forward here. Meanwhile, Drone has actually taken out this extra base of Rhythm here, so that's really not very good there for Rhythm, actually. That's unfortunate. He's going to fall behind in that respect. But with DroneOfArc now moving towards the Spire as well, we're going to be starting to see some slightly later game armies coming out of these players. Both players on Hive Tech now, I think, as well. Yeah, absolutely both on Hive Tech. Very good. We've got the macro hatchery down there for Rhythm as well, so he's obviously looking to just churn out more troops as both players do start to bank up a little bit of minerals in that sort of way, and obviously with Rhythm as well sitting on that quite high amount there as well. So yeah, with them coming up and taking out this extra base, that was really good there. Basically got revenge for the damage that DroneOfArc did to his fourth base, and actually now Rhythm's going to be a little bit caught out here now, as DroneOfArc's on the low ground here, and has actually managed to completely catch Rhythm's army up in here. So if we can get a nice big concave out of DroneOfArc here, we might be able to see a nice little sort of victory out of him here in terms of this aggression. Although actually, if he doesn't engage properly here and allows Rhythm to just keep picking off these front roaches, that's not going to be very good there at all. And to be honest, I think DroneOfArc might have messed that one up a little bit. If he'd got the bigger concave on initially and just managed to sort of fill these areas here and up here with a big sort of line of troops, he might have been able to get the concave on the troops on the lower ground if he just stood far enough back to force Rhythm to come down. But for all intents and purposes, he pretty much had that army caught out there. And actually, it looks like DroneOfArc's going to be doing some extra pressure down the bottom here on both these additional bases. Completely killed off the drones in this extra base here for Rhythm. And yeah, that was really awful there. So I think that's what actually won DroneOfArc the game there, with the GG being thrown out there for Rhythm as he's fallen 60 supply behind. And it's a little bit of a sudden ending, really. I mean, the Rhythm was definitely behind. I mean, with these Infestors coming down, just taking out that extra base there, and, well, dealing with that extra base there, and also killing off all these drones in this base, there wasn't really that much left in the way of economy there for Rhythm, as he'd lost both of his main bases, have obviously completely mined out. And I should not have won this game, says DroneOfArc. I'm not sure I agree that you shouldn't have won it, but I think you deserve to win it, mate. You had plenty of Nidus play. It was good. You know, you got in there. You made sure you pressed him, kept him busy. You took down the extra bases with some very sneaky Infestor play, and then completely caught his army out here on the high ground. And although you didn't get quite the perfect engagement on that, you basically held it there and stopped Rhythm from being able to defend himself. So yeah, excellent game, to be honest. And well, I'm pretty impressed by it. I'm going to take a swig of my brew because I think it's going cold, and I've completely forgotten about it because I've been talking so damn fast during this game. God damn it. Yeah, so yeah, good play out of both players there. I quite enjoyed that. Could have been better, but every game can be better, let's be honest. Trying to think of things that players could improve on here. Rhythm could have maybe spread out a little bit more in terms of his army. Like, what he was struggling with was that he was running his whole army down to deal with a few lings here, while letting a few run into his main base, and then the Infestors coming up here, and he just didn't really deal with DroneOfArc's pressure quite right after the Nidus Worm finished. DroneOfArc, on the other hand, I quite liked him skipping the early upgrades to get more units out in the end, because the way he played it, because he got the Nidus Worm down and pushed out, that was really nice. In terms of other stuff, I'm not really sure. I mean, he played a pretty good game, to be honest. He was definitely better than his opponent in pretty much every aspect. He was ahead in the sort of terms of getting the Hive down. I think I think he got the hive down earlier. He had the infestors out earlier. He was getting the spire up. He was getting his greater spire ready. He had his 3/3 upgrades out sooner as well. Generally looked really good during that game. So don't be too hard on yourself, Drone. You did really well there, mate. Well, thanks once again for watching, everyone. I've been RedRipz, your Dreadlock caster. I'll be back once again, Renegade Mastering, tomorrow after work. Woohoo! When it'll be Thursday, and that will be episode 49. Sugar. I better get something together for episode 50. Not sure what yet. Maybe another free-for-all or something? Another big team game? Something like that. I'll have another look on Cast It, have a look on the internet, see what I can find. If anyone wants to send me any games, that'd be beautiful. Would really appreciate that. So with that in mind, I'm going to end this epically long intro. Outro. We'll go... I'm going to end this epically long outro now when I learn how to speak properly. So yeah, thanks once again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual banter. I've been RedRipz, and GG to both players. Thank you.